Top 10 boxing fights of 2025. As you watch this, just remember that this is all my opinion. Number 10, we have Regis Prograis versus Jojo Diaz. It wasn't a super fight or anything, but it was a very entertaining back and forth. They both kept rocking each other. I honestly wish I was there to see it live. It was just such a good fight. Zhang versus Caballel. Before that fight, I underestimated Caballel heavily. I was not familiar enough with his game. I thought Zhang would just blow him out of the water, get him out of there within a few rounds, but I really should have done more studying. Caballel's work to the body in that fight was just excellent. And then you go back and see his previous fights where he stops his opponents with body shots. Dude, this guy is incredible. An amazing body artist. I feel bad for ever doubting him. I really want to see him against the likes of Daniel Dubois, Joseph Parker, Usyk. Yeah, Big Bang got banged. Nakatani versus Hernandez. This was one of those events where two people who are lined up to fight in the future have to get through an opponent first. Inoue got through his opponent pretty easily, Picasso, but before that, Nakatani almost didn't get through his opponent, Hernandez. It was almost a similar case with Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder. Joshua got through Otto Wallin. Deontay Wilder didn't get through Joseph Parker, so the two of them couldn't fight. Same thing with Caleb Plant and Charlo. I do think Nakatani did enough to win just by like a round. He really dug deep and scraped it just by a little bit. Credit to Hernandez, he put up a hell of a fight and exposed some flaws in Nakatani, but I think that one scorecard, 118-110, disgusting scorecard. It was way closer than that. It could have been a draw, but they got that super fight lined up, and I think it's reportedly being scheduled for May. So we still get Inoue and Nakatani. Joseph Parker versus Fabio Wardley. Joseph Parker didn't have to take this fight. He was next in line to fight Usyk, but he wanted to stay active. Respect to him for that. But unfortunately, he came up short against Fabio Wardley, who was a huge rising star the past years. No amateur experience, but at heavyweight, that doesn't really matter. This was another great back and forth. Parker was doing this thing. Fabio Wardley would come back, rock Parker. Then Parker would come back, rock Wardley, dominate. It's just an incredible back and forth. But then unfortunately we got that early call by the ref, which I can understand a little bit. Parker wasn't throwing anything back. He was evading the punches. He evaded like 2 of the last 3 punches that were thrown. And now Parker lost his chance to fight Usyk. I really wanted to see that fight. Dubois got to face him now, man. Dubois got away with it to get the Usyk rematch, but reschedule that. Reschedule that fight. I really hope Joseph Parker can get a shot at Usyk before Usyk retires, but I kind of doubt it. Canelo versus Crawford. Canelo takes his 3rd loss as Terence Crawford puts on a very good showing. It was a competitive fight, it was. Canelo has a good chin, powerful punches, but Terence Crawford is on another level. He went up several weight classes, what was it, like 20-ish pounds, and beat Canelo at his own game. It wasn't a 12-0 sweep. It was like, I would say 7-5, 8-4, that's our fair scores, but Terence definitely won that fight. Usyk versus Dubois 2. After ducking Parker, Dubois got another shot at Usyk. There was all the controversy because in the first fight, there was the low blow. It was a low blow, people. Come on. There's so many different angles of it that make it look like something different, but it was a low blow. So Dubois' team are using that narrative going into this rematch. You got lucky. It should have been a low blow. You should have been counted out. I was robbed of a knockout win. But despite that narrative that Dubois' team were trying to push, Usyk reminded everybody why he was, is, and will always be a superior boxer to Dubois, which is not a bad thing. Usyk is better than everybody. Tank versus Roach. Despite that huge controversy with the knee in round 9, it should have been a knockdown. Steve Willis made a big mistake that night. You can't just take a timeout like that in boxing. But he gets special treatment because people like supporting a woman beater. But even regardless of round 9, I think Roach still won, 8-4. Roach really warmed up in the fight, had good counters against Tank. Tank, as we know, he's durable, but he did get wobbled a little bit a few times. And, he caught Roach with some good shots as well, but I still think 8-4, Roach. They need to rematch to really settle the score because it's a draw, this first fight. They got to settle that score. Inoue versus Cardenas. Now, this fight was on the same weekend as 2 kind of letdown events. We had the event in Times Square where the co-main and main events weren't very entertaining. Then we had Canelo versus William Skull the next day. Very boring fight. So we were kind of in a lull. But Inoue came to save the weekend. Not just Inoue, actually. Both Inoue and Cardenas came to save the weekend. Because Cardenas gave Inoue a good fight in the beginning. He dropped him in round 2. Inoue adjusted and got Cardenas out of there, what was it, round 6 or 7? If that fight hadn't happened, or if it didn't go the way that it did, That would have been one of the worst weekends in boxing. Beterbiev versus Bivol 2, a highly anticipated rematch after their amazing technical first fight where Beterbiev won by majority decision. Bivol definitely won this rematch. Again, high level, very good technical scrap, and Bivol wins by majority decision. So they both have majority decision wins over each other. That's how close they are in skill and stuff. So we need that trilogy to really make it 2-1. Before we go to number 1, I got 3 honorable mentions, those being David Benavidez versus David Morrell, Pitbull versus Roach, and then Abdullah Mason versus Sam Noakes. Mason versus Noakes would have actually been on this list if Nakatani and Hernandez wasn't such a good fight. Now, my all-time favorite boxing fight of 2025, it's none other than Eubank Jr. versus Benn 1. Definitely not the rematch. No, I could not watch the rematch. But the first fight, that was a movie. It's one of those no belts on the line, but what is on the line is legacy, family legacy. Their dads fought each other a few times. Now the sons are fighting. Chris has to drain a lot of weight. Conor goes up in weight to meet at 160. Eubank Jr. gets fined because he gets, what, like 0.5 over? I think that's a little ridiculous, but I mean, he did sign the contract, but 0.5, man. I keep scoring the fight differently every time I watch it. Regardless, I always score it for Eubank Jr. He definitely won that fight. At first, I had it I think I had it 7-5. Then when I watched it again, I had it 118, 110. And next time I watch it, I'll probably score something different. It was just such a good fight, such a good back and forth. When I had scored it 118 to 110 one time, that didn't mean that Conor Benn was terrible. There were so many swing rounds that could have went either way. It's just what I personally like. In a boxing match, I edged those close rounds to Eubank Jr. So much animosity in that fight, though. They were throwing with intent to kill these two boys. And I was glad the drug cheat lost. Unfortunately, he won the rematch, but it is what it is. We don't need a trilogy. The first fight was amazing. The second fight wasn't good enough to warrant a trilogy, but at least we have the first fight. Amazing fight. My all-time favorite, number 1 of 2025. So yeah, that's my top 10 favorite boxing fights of 2025. Let me know what yours are in the comments, and thanks for watching.